Hey guys, Whitney here. Welcome to this fine Tuesday afternoon. I'm not sure how many people we're going to have here today. I just inadvertently, somebody let me know, why did I schedule a webinar right during the men's World Cup game against Iran? I don't know. We just do the same time, same place every Tuesday. But thank you to all of you guys who are joining us live today. I'm going to give it just a couple minutes for people to file in the room. And anyways, let's see here. I'm going to pull up my presentation. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic holiday weekend. I know we did. We had some fun in the southern sun and mountain biking. That was amazing. Let's see here. All right. While we're waiting everybody to join, I'm just going to get set up here really fast. And today we are going to dive into the topic of how to achieve the 5 freedoms in life with passive real estate. Now, if this is your first time joining me on this Tuesday webinar, welcome to the Passive Investing Made Simple show. We do this weekly webinar live every Tuesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, in order to help you understand the ins and outs of passive investing and go into your first or next deal with confidence. And so the first part of our presentation today, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 freedoms of real estate and how passive investing actually helps you hit those 5 freedoms. And then in the last part, if you're joining with me live, we have a live Q&A session. So whenever you hear me call a wrap on the actual presentation, don't go anywhere. We will hang out for a while longer. It's a ask me anything, anything goes. Anyways, so let's go ahead and dive in. I went ahead and threw my contact information here at the bottom. If you ever want to reach out to me directly with a question regarding passive investing, what we do here at passiveinvesting.com, or if you have yet to join the Passive Investor Club, you can go do that at passiveinvestingwithwhitney.com. But I want to get into our topic as quickly as possible, but just so you guys, if this is the first time we're ever meeting, my name is Whitney Elkins-Hutten, and this is the whole reason why I invest in real estate. This is me and my crazy crew. I started investing in real estate in 2002, started off living, flipping, and house hacking. Eventually understood that if I wanted to unlock those golden handcuffs of mine from my day job, I needed to learn how to create income passively, shift that linear income that I was earning by trading time for dollars into residual income. So I had choices on how I spent my time. And we eventually scaled a portfolio of over 30 single family properties, still doing about 10 flips a year. And then we had a baby girl, and I was taking care of a couple family members at the same time. And that's really when it hit me like a ton of bricks. I had to learn how to scale quickly with larger transactions actively as well as passively. And it's really with my passive real estate that my husband and I have really been able to unlock those golden handcuffs. Active investing is fine and dandy, but I'm going to show you today why active investing is great if you can take that income and quickly turn it into passive investments. But fast forward today, we've scaled a portfolio of over 6,500 residential units that includes a lot of multifamily units, 2,200 self-storage units. We have car washes, hotels, residential assisted living. We have all kinds of assets in our portfolio. But those are all vanity numbers. Really what we're after in our own personal investing journey, and what you're probably here for to learn about, is how to get 100% choice on how you spend your time. That result, right? Doesn't matter where you come from in your journey, you know, as being a passive investor, really at the end, any passive investor, it's coming down to how can you achieve one of those 5 freedoms in life, and especially this choice and freedom of how to spend your time. And we can help you do that here at passiveinvesting.com. Here's just some cool metrics that I'd love to share about what we've been able to achieve to date this year. You know, we've got 1.3 billion assets under management, 26.1% IRR to our LPs, or our ARR is much higher, 29 plus, and then 56 percent increase in valuation on our assets that we exited to date. Now, as I go through this, we're not going to talk a lot about finances, tax, or anything like that today in today's webinar. This is going to be more kind of the mindset part of becoming a full-time passive investor. But if we have questions that dive in on that, just have to put a little note out here. This webinar is for educational only. Make sure before you make any investment decision, you are consulting with your professional team. All right. Again, I want to dive really quickly into the meat and manner here. And first, I would love to do a quick pop quiz with those of you guys who are here live. Go to your Q&A box, and I would love for you to tell me what you think the 5 freedoms are in life. Let's do a quick pop quiz here, because it's always amazing to see what people are orienting around. When you think about having freedom in life, what is it? Freedom of time. We got somebody chiming in on that. Perfect. What else? What else do you think about when you think of freedom? Freedom of time. I already touched on 2, freedom of time, freedom of choice. And there's so many other freedoms that we can name here. And I'm going to let you guys off the hook because we are doing this live. Oh, I love it. Family, faith, fun, options. Ooh, okay, fantastic. I would, that's kind of another word for choice. I love that. Oh, freedom of health. Fantastic. I love that. Well, I'm going to present these freedoms to you, and some of the, not in any particular order. This is kind of the order when I talk to most investors that they are orienting around. A lot of people, when they first enter in real estate, they're attracted by the returns. They're like, if I can get this financial return, I can then do X. All right. Now, here's the thing. When we talk about that financial freedom, one of the first freedoms, a lot of people are running from a pain. What we want to be able to do as a passive investor is orient our mind shift to where we're running towards a goal, that family, that faith, that choice, right? All those things that you guys have laid out there. But it's not, you don't just go from working your day job and then all of a sudden have financial freedom. There are milestones along the way. And so for many people, they might be going, whew, fantastic. They're wiping the sweat off their brow. And they're like, great, I have milestones hit along the way. A lot of people might be going, oh, nuts. There are milestones I need to hit along the way. Now, I laid them out here for you. The first milestone that most people are trying to hit is financial security, right? Just be able to, cover, keep the heat on, the mortgage paid, gas in the car so you can get back and forth to work, right? You just keep the basics going. And then the next step of towards financial freedom is having a little bit of vitality. Sorry, I put those are actually out of order, but financial vitality, being able to have enough income coming in to where you can have a small luxuries, like going out to eat, maybe traveling a little bit more, indulging in maybe like spa visits every now and then, like a good massage. And then you hit that financial independence, right? That dream number where the FIRE movement has changed us, the financial independence, retire early movement has trained us to have enough income that cover all your expenses, right? But that's actually not financial freedom. That we're getting there. It's a step along the way. Financial freedom is where you essentially have all the money coming in passively from your assets to live the life that you want. All right. But there's even one more level of freedom past that, and that's absolute freedom. That's where you can do what you want with whomever you want, whenever you want, and money is no object. Now, I know I'm on my way towards that. That's a dream of mine. That's kind of my next stop. But really, for most people, when we think about it, take a look and see where you feel like you're on that journey. Are you, just bringing in enough passive income to feel secure? Do you have enough coming in to where you're like, oh, I can feel like I can do like some additional things in my life? Are you at financial independence where you could literally step away from your job and have everything covered? Are you at financial freedom where you're living the life of your dreams? Now, here's the thing. I'm going to actually help you break down these numbers in a boot camp on Friday. It's at 10:30 Mountain Time. new 12:30 Eastern p.m. Eastern on Friday. And we'll actually help you break down these numbers so you understand where you are specifically on this journey and what you need to do to get to the next step. Now, the next freedom, I think somebody mentioned options, right? One of the options that we can have is choice of where we work. But again, like financial freedom, this is a sliding scale, right? We can hit several different layers here on our way to having that completely location independent work. Most people start off, they're working in an office, maybe traveling some, and they're told where they're going to be. Maybe you have some flexibility, especially now after the pandemic, you can do some remote work from home. Maybe you actually get to travel part-time. We just got back from Arkansas. We're leaving for Sedona next week. I get to travel and work as well and spend time with my family in wonderful places. Maybe you can completely remotely work with your job, right? That's again on this tiered level of location freedom. This is a step along the way. And then it's live wherever you want. Time zones are irrelevant. It does not matter. Now, I show you these different levels because if you are trying to attain all these 5 freedoms in life, you can't just say, I'm now location independent, right? That might not, your job might not allow you to go from working 40 hours at an office to immediately living wherever you want in whatever time zone you want and traveling whenever you want, okay? There are baby steps along the way. So I want you to be able to orient, okay, what is kind of my next step to work myself into if this is a freedom that you want for yourself? All right. Another part of this options is having that time freedom, right? How are you spending your most non-renewable resource? That is your time, okay? Now, most people start off where their hours are dictated to them. They have to be at work between 9 to 5. Their boss sets their schedule for them. And then maybe they get to set their own schedule. That's, as you, again, scale up this tier to, having complete time freedom, you now are setting your own schedule, but maybe you work 4 10s and you have Fridays off, but you still have to go to the office. And then maybe you have a flexible schedule, right? Again, working up this ladder where you, can flex your schedule, according to the needs of what your family or what you need. And then, you can work yourself into, you work when you want to, okay? You have results that you have to hit, okay? You have deliverables that you have to hit, but you get to do that on your own time. Maybe you can work weekends, work nights, and travel and have fun during the week. And then ultimate time freedom is whenever your business or runs itself, okay? Or you have worked yourself out of your business and you don't have to be present there. Now, that's really hard to do in somebody else's ecosystem. You kind of have to be in your own ecosystem. We're going to talk about that when we specifically get in the parts of the presentation on how passive investing helps you actually hit this time freedom. And then next is choice freedom, okay? I also help people orient to this, that it's not just choice, like choosing between, do I work at A or B, but it's really choice in how you spend your attention. Okay, not just your time, but your attention. Where is your energy going? Okay, when you work for somebody else, you're probably going to be in some sort of dictated role. You're going to be a manager or managed role, or you're going to be in a director or directed role. All right, that's you working for somebody else. You're working on their business goals, their priorities, their KPIs. Then you can work on your own business. Now, this can come in 2 different forms. Maybe you decide to step away and become a solopreneur or an entrepreneur and open up your own business. Or even maybe there's an opportunity for you to be an intrapreneur in somebody else's business, okay? But either way, you have to still be able to scale yourself out if you want to have that complete choice and freedom of how you spend your attention. And that's where you have to be able to choose your own work. And this is where most people choose their work, either opening a business or becoming a full-time passive investor. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that your time and attention is being a full-time passive investor. It's just once you've hit that, now you can go do whatever you want. Okay. Maybe it's working for a charity or giving back some way to your community. And then the last freedom, that fifth freedom, is impact or vitality. How are you going to create a ripple effect in the world? Now, again, this is tiered. Most of us are starting out, working for somebody else. We are told what impact we need to create in the business. Okay, we're handed goals, we're handed KPIs, and this is what you need to do in order to help the business out. And that's fantastic. Again, you're in somebody's ecosystem. But in order to get that true freedom, you have to be able to choose your own outcomes. Maybe, again, that's as an entrepreneur within the business that you're at, or you choose to start your own business. Now, like our time freedom, like our choice freedom, you have to be able to scale yourself out in order to, experience true freedom with impact. And that is, in this particular arena, is that your outcomes become larger than you. So again, how can you create impact at scale to where it's rippling out into the community? And that's where we see a lot of full-time investors, start doing more charitable giving, more charitable talks. They have a foundation on the side or something like that. And eventually they're scaling themselves out of their own business or their own investing, handing that off to other operators or to a COO they've hired themselves. And then they're stepping away to do the work that they truly feel their heart-centered to do in the world. All right, so that's just a quick rundown of the 5 freedoms of life. Now, I love talking about this because, again, most people, when they start getting into investing, they usually are looking in through the lens of like, how do I create enough income coming in to where I don't have to work anymore? And that's fine. That's a great question to start off with. But as you kind of start going down this journey, your world starts actually opening up. You start having more choices, not fewer choices. It's like the menu becomes much larger of what you can do. And you need to think in terms of these 5 areas in order to make that transition for yourself if you're going to choose to step into being a full-time passive investor. Now, this, again, we've defined those 5 areas, but let's put a nice little bow on this. Why is it important for you, regardless of whether you love your current job or not, to actually pursue these 5 freedoms? And it's because when you have to work, when your back is against the wall and you have to work, you have to have that paycheck, you're more than likely not in control of one of those areas. You're not in control of the financial piece, largely probably not in control of your time and your attention, and probably not control of the location of where you can work, right? But when you actually can free yourself up, whether you ever left your job or not, but really freed yourself up, you get to work, okay? And that's where you actually get to have the time, the choice on how you spend your time and your attention in order to give back in multiple areas of your life. Again, you create freedom in those areas of your life. All right, so I can babble on about this all day long, but let's kind of help you understand how passive investing actually helps you achieve this. Okay, and the first thing is because when you passively invest, you're creating leverage, right? And when we think of the definition of leverage, it's being able to use a lever to exert force on another object. Okay, that plain and simple. And we can do that in multiple areas of our life. We can do it financially, operationally, personally, or time. Okay. Now, guys, again, this is a Wikipedia definition. If I scratch my head, those are the exact same things as the 5 freedoms that we just talked about, right? How can we, when we apply leverage in our life, we are trying to, again, exert force and achieve leverage in multiple areas of our life. And there is actually an investment strategy out there that allows us, when we invest in a passive investing strategy, we can actually exert leverage in all of those areas simultaneously. Okay. And no surprise, you guys are here to learn more about it, but it's real estate, passively investing in real estate. And when you passively invest in real estate, over 90% of the world's millionaires have been created through this avenue. And why is that? Is that there's actually, when you invest correctly in passive real estate, you actually have multiple pillars on which to build that wealth upon. You have cash flow, you have appreciation, you have 3 different levers of equity growth that you can pull. You can get leverage from lending as well. And then you also have the tax benefits, okay? There's not many other places that you can get all of those levers in one investment. You can't get it in the stock market. It just can't happen. Now, when we invest passively, okay, and it's not just investing in real estate, and I can tell you guys this from experience. My husband and I scaled up a portfolio of over 30 single family properties. We also had a 52 unit building that we were, partnered on as well. And there was a lot of time and effort in there. We were getting cash flow, we were getting appreciation, we had the leverage, the lending on the building, we had all the tax benefits, but really what we didn't have was that time leverage. Okay, when we discovered passive investing and really started to lean into this as a strategy, we realized this was better for us and our lifestyle and what we wanted to do. For starters, the operator has all the knowledge of the strategy, the market, the underwriting, and all the knowledge about the lending, okay? When we wanted to transition from multifamily investing and start adding in self-storage to our portfolio, car washes, hotels, we didn't have to become experts in the space, okay? We just had to have the knowledge and skills to be able to underwrite, but we didn't have to become the expert in that space. That allowed us to continue to focus on our core business. All right, for you, your core business may still be your job. You get to continue to focus there and use leverage the operator's time, knowledge, and market strategies. All right, you also get to leverage the track record and expertise of the operator. Again, you don't have to go out and build that yourself. When we started adding self-storage to our portfolio, if I tried to go and get a $10 million loan and I had never owned a self-storage building before, that lender was going to shut me down. But when I partnered with operators who had the knowledge and the expertise and the track record in that strategy, and I got to participate in a well-oiled asset or well-run asset. You also get to partner with operators who have a team of brokers, property managers, lenders, legal counsel, accountants. You don't have to go source that team all yourself. I'm part of a women's mastermind, and this is a large part of the conversation. These women that are breaking into real estate, they're puzzling about this all day long, whereas they could tap into an operator's already built system. All right, then you can also tap into an operator's ability to secure credit and lending. I don't know about you, I don't have $80 million in the bank to be able to write a check immediately. Nor if I would I want to put that all into one asset. Okay, I get to tap into that operator's ability to secure a loan for that amount of money and their ability to pull money from other investors so we can all partake in these institutional assets. All right, but number 6, most importantly, the biggest piece of leverage I get when I invest passively is I get to tap into the operator's time. They are spending the time to underwrite, to complete the due diligence on the property, to run the deal and even disposition the deal. And if I want to participate in a 1031 exchange and continue to keep my investment and my gains tax deferred, which is one of the most powerful wealth building strategies, I get to leverage somebody else's operations in order to do that. All right. So again, to kind of put a little pretty bow on it, when you invest passively, you can actually build out all those 5 areas of freedom in your life. So the financial freedom, right? You get to participate in the cash flow and the appreciation of the asset, the levered income coming off the asset. You also get to participate in the tax benefits that are being thrown off from the asset. Okay, all of that's contributing to your financial freedom. You get location freedom. You get to live where you want and invest where it makes sense. Okay, you don't have to be an expert and buy property in your specific geographical area, nor do you have to get very familiar with another geographical area. Okay, you get that location freedom. Also, you get time freedom. Okay, your business is running itself quite literally. After you invest in a passive asset, you stay as a passive investor, and the general partnership is the active investor. So your business, my business, is largely running itself. I find this very wonderful. I'm very much a hands-on person. I love control, but I mean, life can deal you some pretty harsh times. I remember in 2018, my husband broke his neck mountain biking. And then 2 weeks later, we found out my mom had passed away. And that was a very trying time in my life. And it was relief to me that majority of our income at that point in time was coming in passively. And I could literally step away from that business and largely ignore it. Whereas the active investments, I was still having to put a lot of time and attention to, even though I had property management in place and I could pass those off to some other investor friends of mine. I was still, my time and attention was still pretty diverted during that time. When you invest passively, you get that time and attention back. Okay. Choice freedom, we already talked about. You get to choose where your attention goes. And then my favorite thing is the impact freedom. And when you build out a passive portfolio that truly gives you that financial freedom, it becomes your ability to create an impact in the world becomes endless and priceless to you. For me, one of the things that I love doing is spending my time here with you to show you guys how to build out your passive portfolios and what the power it can bring in your life. And why is that? So you can go out into the world and create that ripple effect moving forward and give back in other ways that you probably couldn't if you didn't have the time and attention to do that. All right, guys. We're about to transition into our open Q&A session, but I just wanted to say thank you for joining me today. This has been amazing. If you guys have questions, go over to the questions box, drop them in there. If you are watching after the fact, my contact information will pop up on the screen. I'll share that information with you. But just wanted to let you guys know that we do have some investments that are still open for investment here towards the end of the year in 2022. If you're interested in learning about any of those investments, multifamily, car wash, self-storage, make sure to reach out to me at whitney@passiveinvesting.com. And you can also get registered for the next masterclass at passiveinvestingwithwhitney.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're here live, don't go anywhere.